Vanakkam. Today we are going to see another very interesting topic, that is CIBIL highlights. What is meant by CIBIL? What are the latest development in CIBIL? Lot of lenders, lot of borrowers, they are very curious to know about the CIBIL. Today we are going to discuss about the CIBIL highlights, and this will go with the basic details, and apart from that we will going to discuss about the latest updates in CIBIL. That is, the views expressed by me here are all my views. For clear and proper understanding, please read the RBI instructions that are available in RBI Circular Index. I am not responsible for any of wrong interpretation based on this presentation. This is issued for the benefit of CA members and students. So with this, I am going to start the disclaimer, and we are going to see step by step what is meant by CIBIL, what is the CIBIL introduction. CIBIL, the expansion is CIBIL Information Bureau India Limited and TransUnion CIBIL Limited. And this is a credit information company. That is the date of registration, that is the company comes into effect from 5/3/2012. It is a RBI approved licensed company. So that means, so whatever the CIBIL says, so it is under the control of RBI. And one among the four information company approved by RBI, that is CIBIL. This is CIBIL is one of the four CIC which are approved by the RBI, and other three CICs, that is Credit Information Company or CRIF Highmark Credit Information Services Private Limited, which comes into effect from 25/11/2010, that is before CIBIL, and Equifax Credit Information Services Private Limited, that is which comes into effect from 26/3/2010, Experian Credit Information Company Limited, Company of India Private Limited, 5/3/2010. All these three credit information company controls or gives proper instruction or proper direction or collective information direction to the lenders to decide them to give the all information before sanction of the loan. That is another thing. This is a CIBIL is governed by CIC, that is Credit Information Companies Regulatory Act of 2005, and all the details related to the credit activities and credit card details are availed by the borrowers, by the companies, by the individuals, or clearly mentioned or maintained in the CIBIL. And banks and NBFCs are registered members of CIBIL, and registered members must submit the report to CIBIL every month, and in some cases periodically according to their loan products. So this is a very, very important thing. They have to, the CIBIL, the lenders, they have to give the information to CIBIL every month. Next one is CIBIL prepares credit information report and credit score based on the report submitted by the banks and NBFC every month. This is very, very important. Only the information given by the banks and NBFC, CIBIL prepares the report, and the banks and the NBFCs have to take lending decision based on the CIBIL score and CIBIL report. And CIBIL reports are very quick and effective. It helps to take proper decision about the proposed customers. CIBIL can also be accessed by individual and company, and most of the people, they thought that the CIBIL can be taken only by the banks and NBFC, but the members can also, that is public can also take the CIBIL report on payment of fees. So registered members are eligible to take the CIBIL, that is registered members here are banks and NBFC, and by public also on payment of payment of fees, they can also take the CIBIL. What are the documents that are required to be produced to the registered members before they have to take the CIBIL report? So this is all the thing. That is, name with name evidence you have to produce, address evidence, PAN card, Aadhaar card, mobile numbers, voter ID, driving license, passport if available, everything that they have to submit before they are taking the CIBIL report. CIBIL is important for what? It is useful during the loan application process. So even the loan is processed, so at the time of application itself, the CIBIL is very useful. And before lending, the registered members, that is banks and NBFCs, they will take the CIBIL score and CIBIL report from the CIBIL side. And low CIBIL score means loan application need not be considered or will not be considered or shall not be considered. And if it is high CIBIL score means loan application will be considered, but subject to some of the terms and conditions of the bank. And just because you are having high CIBIL, you will not, you cannot say that you cannot force the banks and NBFCs to lend the loan. It is the first impression by the lender. Suppose if the CIBIL score is very poor, the bankers they never uh, consider to give the loan. So it's a reference to the lender, and CIBIL not to create a situation to decide. So just because CIBIL, whether it is a low score or high score, it cannot decide the sanction of the loan, but it gives the information about the borrower only. And CIBIL score, that is, what is CIBIL score? So how it comes? It refers in three-digit numeric value. It represents the credit worthiness of the individuals. It ranges between 300. 300 is the lowest and 900 is the highest. The CIBIL report, based on the CIBIL score, the CIBIL prepared the credit history available against the individual, against the company, and all the information that are stored in the CIBIL by way of reporting by the lenders. So here, normally this is the typical score range. If the score range is 751 to 900, that means it is excellent, and there is a clear highest chance of approval with the best interest rate. And if the score ranges between 701 to 750, the category is good. That is a favorable term, and widely it will be considered or accepted by the most of the lenders. If the score is between 650 to 700, it's an average score. It needs improvement, might face higher interest rate. But if the score is below 650, they are saying that it's poor or bad, and there is a high risk of rejection. But a few bankers they say that if the score is below 650, they have to get the higher authorities permission, thereby they can sanction the loan. And what's the credit report of the individual? It contains the details that are submitted by the various financial institution to the CIBIL company. It's a detailed report, contains the information about the individual's history of borrowing and repayment schedule regarding, and which includes defaults and delays. It gives individuals personal information, employment details, contact information, and account details. And with reference to credit report of companies, it gives the company's credit history. It gives several segments in the credit report, and it speaks about the potential lenders, existing credit of the company, lawsuits if it is any pending. But for the individual, it is not mentioned. Lawsuits pending against the individual, it is not there. But with reference to company, it is there. Loan will be approved based on the credit report. Only if it is good, and bad credit means the loan will be rejected for the company. So interpretation of CIR, that is Credit Information Report, that is, it has got 5 sections. That is, when you are receiving the CIBIL, it has got 5 sections. One is about the personal information of the individual or company, contact information, employment information, account information, and inquiry information. Now we'll discuss about the personal information that are available in the CIBIL, how to read the personal information, and you can get the information about the name of the person, date of birth, gender, identifying the number, that is PAN, voter ID, Aadhaar, passport number. Based on that, you will get all the CIBIL will give all these 4 details. And when you are going for the contact information, so for the contact information, CIBIL allows 4 addresses to be recorded. Sometimes the borrower may move from one place to another. So all the addresses will be mentioned in the CIBIL, and all these details have to be submitted by the lenders to the CIBIL company. Then telephone numbers, where it contains the landline and mobile number. And sometimes the borrowers, they may cancel one number and take new number. They thought that by changing the mobile number, they will not be identified. But based on the earlier report, they will be identified. And employment information, that is a monthly income as reported by the lenders. That is, they got the monthly income report based on the self-declaration given by the borrower through their income tax returns and other forms. Annual income as reported. It's a declared information during loan application and updated one. So whenever any borrower submits the report, loan application, they have to mention what is their proposed or declared income. So this information also will be provided by the lenders to the CIBIL company. And account information. So who are all the lenders and what are the type of credit facilities availed by the borrower in the form of, say, home loan or credit cards, cash credit loan or term loan, etc. All this will contain that is as information in the CIBIL report as fourth point. Then what are the account numbers? If they have got 7 loans, their account numbers will also be mentioned in that. And the CIBIL also will declare that whether the loan is availed singly or jointly. And date of opening also will be clearly mentioned here. And date of last payment, when the loan is borrowed, what is the last payment, everything will also be clearly mentioned in that account information. Then what's the loan amount? What's the loan amount availed? That also will contain a portion of the account information. What is the current balance? Month-on-month record for the last 3 years with reference to term loan and EMI, and check and ensure only the lenders have to give the information only to the only after verifying the genuineness to the CIBIL, and they have to verify the users of the CIBIL, they have to verify and ensure that current information is available in the CIBIL. And what is the status of the account, whether it's a fully paid account or that is when sometimes the loans have been closed, and that status of closure of the loan will also be mentioned, whether it's a settled account or return of account or fully paid account. So when the lender gives when the lender supposed to give any loan, they will consider this point. And another points are days past due. This is very, very important for every loan. They will look into it. So what is the due date of the loan? When they are paid? Is there any delay? Whether the dues have been paid on time or not? Everything that you will see from the DPD. That is, standard means payments have been made within 90 days. Substandard means the dues have been paid after 90 days. And doubtful, that means the account remains in substandard category for 12 months. And loss means the amount is not collectible. And if it is mentioned as XXX, that means the information has not been submitted by the banks. So, for example, DPD mentioned 045 means it's a 45 days late. And DPD mentioned 000 means there is no delay in the repayment of the loan or EMI. Now we are going to the fifth portion, inquiry. That is credit inquiries made from the CIBIL. So many inquiries would have been made by the borrower. And if it is a short span, it's a multiple inquiry means it's a big problem to the borrower. That means if they have done their multiple inquiries, that means the borrower, that is the proposed borrower, is in trouble of finance problem. And behavior of the behavior of the borrower seeking excessive credit. After availing the loan, also the borrower tries to say, I want another 2 crores, 3 crores. Can I get the loan from others? These are all the excessive credit inquiries. And if it's a frequent inquiry means it will definitely have the higher impact in the CIBIL score of the borrower. So my sincere advice, you only when there is a need, you have to use the CIBIL platform. Otherwise, frequent inquiry will definitely reduce the CIBIL score. The frequent inquiry, even if it is made by the present lenders also, that will also reduce your score. So NA or NH means it's not a bad loan because no loans have been availed, and he may be a new borrower and no credit facility have been availed in the last couple of years, and there is no exposure to credit cost. There is no exposure to credit cost. So all this, if the CIBIL report says NA, that means it's a no exposure. What are the factors that affect the CIBIL score? That is, making late payment. So if you are making a late payment after the due date of EMI or due, it will have definitely affect the CIBIL score. After getting the loan, having multiple inquiries for the additional loan, that will also reduce your credit score. Increase in the credit card balance or personal loans without security. So at the time of availing, say 1 lakh you avail, then you increase the limit to 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs. So frequent increase in the credit card balance will also affect the CIBIL score. And having balance mix between the secure loan and unsecured loan, possible to get positive score. So if you are properly manage the secure loan and unsecured loan, you will get the positive score. And now, how to increase the CIBIL score? This is what everyone feels. So pay the dues in time, keep the loan balance at low level, and you should have a good credit mix between the secured loan and unsecured loan, and proper follow-up of loan. So you may stand as a co-obligant, that is co-sign, or would have a guarantor to another person. You may be a joint account holder borrower, and you have to have a proper follow-up every month with the other persons. You are not borrowed, but you have put the guarantee. You are in the part of the joint account, and you would have signed the co-obligant status. So you should have a proper follow-up, and you have to review your credit history every year. So where you failed, where how you can rectify those things that you can uh, manage. If you manage, then your CIBIL score will be increased. Now the loans have been rejected. In spite of you are having very good CIBIL score, what are the reasons? Loan rejected in earlier period. Suppose in case a loan is rejected earlier period, and there's a poor score for co-obligant, that is, you would have standard as stood as a co-obligant, and if the co-obligant score is poor, then it will also affect your loan requirement, making frequent credit inquiries. So when you are going bank, when every bank, every NBFC to know about, sir, I want loan of 10 crores, I want loan of 5 crores. So if you are making frequent inquiry, then when any new person came, when new NBFC team came or new bankers came, they will see the credit inquiry, whether the borrower has got the habit of going to every bank to avail the loan or not. So this will be the base to reject your loan. And suppose if the bankers they want any details, and if you are not submitted SB account details, that is also another reason for your loan rejections. And unbalanced credit mix, that is, you have got more personal, more unsecured loan and less secured loan, or no secured loan and only unsecured loan. All this will make your loan as a failure one, and you are not, I mean, the credit credentials, whether the bankers or NBFCs, they are not able to verify the credit credentials. That will also affect your loans. And frequent borrowings from various persons, and guarantee, you are already a guarantor, that guarantor loan has already been failed. And sometimes the CIBIL, in that report, they would have mentioned your activities in the form of a comment. If the CIBIL has given a negative comment, then your loan will not be sanctioned. That is carrier or company or address. There is no proper address. Instability is noticed. There also your loan will be rejected. And details of matching with a defaulter. That is, the same name appears with the 3 or 2 borrowers. So it's a matching with the loan defaulter. Somebody would have availed a loan, same name, same amount. So, they are based on the CIBIL, the borrowers, I mean, lenders, they are not in a position to verify. So, there you have got a chance for the rejection. And applying joint loan with the friends or sisters. And if the sister loan is a failure one, then your loan will also be rejected. Then irregular tax paying. Suppose if you are not paid the income tax arrears, if you are not paid the GST arrears or GST tax, eligible tax and time, then these loans will also be rejected. And this is the latest instruction given by the RBI guidelines. That is bi-monthly updates. So every 15th of the month and 30th of, last date of every month, the lenders, they have to update the credit score, credit data with the CIBIL. Previously, it ranges between 30 to 45 days. Now it is 15 days. Once in 15 days, it has to be updated, and immediately on the date of updation, the lenders will borrower will get the information. Then lenders pull that credit report and they decide the loan before they sanction. And here the CIBIL says, I'm applied for the loan, but the lenders merely reject that I'm not satisfied with your credit score, so I will not sanction. But here, if that is the case, they have to give you a specific reason why they have rejected the loan. So before that, there is no such conditions. There are no such conditions. Now it is the condition that your loan must be rejected by giving. There is a proper reasons have to be given if the loan is rejected, and there should not be any generic relation. And CIBIL to resolve credit disputes within 30 days. That is within 30 days to lender, within 21 days. Suppose that if there is any credit disputes, it has to be decided. It has to be decided or settled within 30 days, and the lender has to give all the details to verify within 20 days. And delays, if there is a delay, it will attract 100 days per day, 100 rupees per day for the CIBIL as well as to the lender. And free annual reports have to be given to the users every year. And if there is a first time borrower, lender cannot reject the loan due to non-CIBIL score. Evaluate from the alternative factors like income proof and bank statements. If he's a first time lender, first time borrower, there will not be any score. So their loan should not be rejected, but the lenders can take their position by way of income proof or bank statement. Based on that, they can go for the loan. And if there is any complaint, you have to make an online dispute form to the official CBI portal, and you have to identify the specific reason why it is incorrect. Everything the complainant has to make in that complaint, and you make a dispute of incorrect personal details, personal amounts, or DPD status. If you are regular, but DPD is not correct, then that has to be made as a complaint with CIBIL. And supporting documents. So give proof of your complaint that I have closed the loan, but notice certificate also I have received, but that are not updated in CIBIL. That you can make a report here. Whenever you make a complaint to CIBIL, the CIBIL has to give within 30 days. The lenders have to submit within 21 days. Then, if you are not satisfied, even after that, you have to make a complaint to Banking Ombudsman Bank. In case if the lender does not respond or fails to correct the accurate error, then you can make a complaint to Banking Ombudsman Bank. So whether my view, this is my view, whether the CIBIL score spoils the business, no. It helps the lenders to take a proper decision. It saves the lenders also, and also it saves the country's economy. But there is no solution or answers given by CIBIL to come out of the problems by. If you write to the CIBIL, they will never suggest that you please go and approach. Normally suggest you please go and approach the lenders, but there is no solution given by the CIBIL to reduce the score of your CIBIL. Bankers angle. From the bankers angle, what they have to do, they have to study the present. This is all my suggestion. But bankers, they are having their own rules and regulations. My suggestions from the customer's angle is a suggestion given to the borrowers through this forum. That is, the bankers, they have to study the present level of the borrower. Some 5 years, 6 years, 10 years back, they would have been failed party. Now they are doing very good business. So analyze the reasons for return off, waiver, and settlement. Why the amount has been written off or waived or settlement, whether it is due to higher interest chargement or due to some natural calamities, everything that the bankers, they have to analyze. So if the loan amount is say 25,000 has been settled, so the bankers can ask the borrower, come and settle you can make a deposit amount of 25,000 then we will consider the application. That man, we have to help the borrowers. They are the partners in nation development. So the bankers, they have to help the borrowers. This is my suggestion, and study the real intention of the borrower by making proper inquiry whether the borrower is having the capacity to make the payment or not. So government declaration, that is, if the government says due to COVID, war, natural calamities, the business would have been stopped or would have been diverted or would have been a failure, and everything the bankers they have to consider, because if the CIBIL score is very less, and is there any, the bankers they also have to consider whether there is a change in the government policy about the plastic ban, and sometimes export of goods are not allowed or import of goods are not allowed. So all this, the bankers they have to consider before they sanction the loan. And is there whether the debt trap of the borrower, whether private finance is there for the borrower, that also you have to consider. And change in the management, that is the borrower government. Sometimes the previous government allows the tender and the present government cancels the tender. The borrower, if the borrower has borrowed the money and invested in the previous tender, due to cancellation, they are not able to move. So all this, the bankers, they have to consider if it is, if the borrower is having a very low CIBIL. And sometimes due to modernization of machinery, due to competition, all these are all the reasons for the business failure. And if the RBI report says that these borrower are coming under the category of willful default or a fraudulent customer, then the bankers should not consider that application, even though the borrower is a very big shot, a very big customer or good customer. And if the higher interest costs of the borrower, sometimes the borrower would have approached the finance company and they would have charged 16%, 17%. That will also make the borrower a failure, because at the time the borrower did not know where to go. So all this you have to consider. Then borrower has to be given the chance to for that explanation, and that should be, it should be the explanation has to be presented by the borrower to the bankers in front of two officials and or three officials. They have to take the decision. Then only the loan application should be rejected or maybe considered. The application will be rejected, should be rejected only after getting the next higher authority's permission. And this is a CIBIL contact address and email ID, consumer helpline, and timings. That is, in that time you can visit the CIBIL. That is TransUnion CIBIL Limited office. And with this, I am just shared my views. All are my views only. You please refer the RBI circular index for the clear, proper understanding. And wish you all the best, members, for hearing this CIBIL. And if I got any doubt, you please call me over phone or 9941 or even mail. You can mail to me, and I'll share my views. Thank you very much for the patient watching of this program. Nandri Vanakkam.